Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hello, Twitter. Hello, X. How's everybody doing today? Glad to see everybody. Thought I'd check out this streaming here, see if I could go ahead and stream something specifically just for Twitter. It's not being broadcast on my YouTube channel. I just wanted to do just for X here, and just see who's out there, see what's going on in the world, and maybe get some feedback and get some conversations going. So, for those that you may not know me at all, you say this is my first time seeing you here, Paul. Um, I've been playing D&D for let's see, probably 40 something years. Started with the Red Box in '83. I've probably been a dungeon master for probably the past 20 years, maybe a little bit more. And then I've been a professional dungeon master for probably the past 5 years. And I'm also what is called a certified therapeutic game master, which means I work with social workers, mental health professionals, therapists, and so forth to use role playing as a way for clients to be able to work on various things that they may be working on. And so I just wanted to come today. I want to talk about duet gaming. This has been on my mind lately, and doing this one-on-one kind of gaming there. And you may not be aware of it. You may not know what it is, but hopefully we can talk about that. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to jump in the chat and let me know your thoughts and ideas. So if you don't know what duet gaming is, duet gaming is where there's just one GM and maybe one or two players. And I recently just ran my largest group I've ever run for. They had booked me to run a game for them, and it was 8 people. And 8 people's a lot. That's a lot of people for me. I don't know about you. Feel free to drop your what is your comfort level number that you are comfortable running for. 8 is about 3 more than really what I am comfortable running. And so the group here, fantastic group of people. We had a wonderful time. Everybody was super cool. We just had a great time. But there was a lot going on. Okay, that's all I'm saying. There was just a lot going on. And even in doing that, though, I used to run a game at the library, and the more nervous I was is when I ran for one person. I'd rather run for 8 than run for 1. And I used to run games, like I said, at the local library. And one time, everybody was kind of booked, and I'm willing to give up my table so that other DMs that have come who have prepped, so they can have their players. And so I want them to have a good table, so I'm going to give up my table, and I'm just sitting around, just kind of watching what's going on. See, I'm waiting for any overflow or any other people coming in. And so this one older gentleman came in, did not have a place to play. Everything was booked. And of course I was free, was just kind of hanging out. And I said, "Hey, would you like me to run something for you?" And, he was kind enough to give me a chance. And now, never mind that I had never run a game for one person. I didn't have any idea how this was going to work. Because in my mind, right, I'm thinking party of 4 or 5, there's dynamics, there's those things. How do I make this interesting for them if they don't have anybody to play off of, and things like that. So I had a lot of questions about running a duet game. But, he agreed, and we wound up having an amazing time. It was a ton of fun. And he had a good time. So he had a place to kind of fit. And I just think that's cool as a dynamic that, when all the tables are full at a convention, or you didn't get to sign up, and maybe somebody's just sitting there saying, "Hey, you want to?" And they just want to try it, right? They just want to try D&D. And I think duet games are great for for new people who want to learn how to play, and they don't want to be. Maybe they don't like crowds. Maybe they don't like large groups of people, and they say, "I just want to learn how to play." well, this becomes a good option then. A duet is saying, hey, we're going to teach you how to play, right? And I think it's, something a DM should at least keep in their their tool bag to say, look, I can run a one-on-one game. And of course, mileage varies. You may not want to play one-on-one with a stranger, but one-on-one with a friend who wants to know how to play, then I think that's probably the best option there. And also, I had never played in a one-on-one. So not only had I never run a one-on-one, I had never played in a one-on-one. And I hadn't done that until my friend Tim, who runs our Shadow Dark, he's the GM for Shadow Dark, ran a duet for my character to help me with my backstory and getting to know his world. And I think that's another great option for using duets. Is you're going to do this one-on-one. You have a chance to maybe level somebody up, maybe to advance with the rest of the party who's maybe moved on a little bit if you want to do it that way, or to get to know the lore, or to just feel comfortable with the setting you're in. It could be any of those things. But I think duets serve, running duet games serves multiple purposes. And so, just for me, there are things that I think are, I think the best example of this is, if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go see it, is when Deborah Ann Wall was teaching John Bernthal how to play D&D. And this was, John Bernthal, I think, had Deborah Ann Wall on his podcast, Real Ones. And then he starts asking her about her D&D stuff, and she says, well, do you want to play? And he says, you mean right now? Yeah. And she painted a very simple scenario. She just painted, you're out in the woods and you hear, it's getting dark, and there's, I think, you hear a crack, you hear and see these giant big eyes in the darkness. And then it has her, she's, leading him, and he starts asking questions like, well, how far away is it? When she asks her, the classic, what do you want to do? And then he begins to explore and ask questions. And I just found this to be a great example. And it doesn't, matter whether it's, a group or not. It's a great teaching method. But for duet gaming, for one-on-one gaming, I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. A pretty good method to do that. And so if you get a chance to watch the video. Just look up John Bernthal D&D. It'll pop up. And, the light came on for him. And I think when somebody's not worried about what other people are thinking, or, maybe they don't know how to act in a group yet, you know what I'm saying? They're not as comfortable yet, I should say that. They're not comfortable enough to jump in it yet. But, this becomes the progression, right? If we want to help somebody get into the hobby and move them further down the line, well, maybe a one-on-one or a duet is a good, a good option. So let me give you just a few tips as we begin to wrap up. The first thing I would say, if you want to, do a successful duet, just keep it short. I think 1 hour, depending on the relationship with the person. This gentleman that I, at the library, I think, the time was 2 hours that we were supposed to be there. So I ran it for 2 hours, took a break in the middle, and then we went on. And then, I think 1 hour is pretty good, for a time period of just, depending on what your goals are, right? If you just want them to know the setting or the background or those things, my friend Tim has a good book on that, and I'll put a link somewhere, probably in the discussion, or I'll post something about what I think is good, good duet material, because it's a good teaching tool. To be able to use it. I think I have a review for that, and I'll post the link here on my profile here to the book. But yeah, short, keep it short, hour and a half. If you know the person, you say, hey, we're going to do a full adventure, maybe it's an hour and a half. The other thing you do is, if you don't want that person playing alone, well, then you give them a companion. Let them control either another character. I think, D&D 5e has this rules for sidekicks somewhere. You can just give them a buddy. You can give them a pet. You can give them a familiar. You can give them something an NPC just to be able to hang out with, whom they can run and have, inner dialogue with and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's, a good option there, is, to keep things moving along and to make them feel like, they're not, it's just them in some way, right? So keep it short, give them a companion, keep it simple, right? Encounters versus adventures, right? You can just have an encounter or a 5-room dungeon, not super big, something that they can navigate, that you're trying to help them navigate, and something that doesn't require you to do a ton of prep work, right? It could just be you rolling up a few things and boom, there it is. And now it's off to the races. And as we know as DMs, if you're a DM that's watching, your players are going to give you the best ideas. So you don't have to worry too much about that because it'll kind of flow as it needs to. And then the last thing is keep it going. So after you do a session with them, you debrief, say, how was it? What did you think? Would you like to come play in this group? We're playing this game. Would you like to come back for another one? Would you like to get more comfortable with it? I can help you do that. And then you can kind of get them plugged into, a group that maybe they feel comfortable with and go from there. And even just put that on a kind of a limited basis where you say, hey, excuse me, where you say, hey, just come for one time. You're not joining the group forever. Just show up and you'll play one game. And if you like it, great. If you don't, we can go back and do some one-on-ones, things like that, right? And go back to the duet. Now, you don't need any tools, by the way. If you're running a duet like Deborah Ann Wall did, you simply say, okay, we're doing this game. You can do it theater of the mind. But I do want to show you this. I did get this. This is just a little whiteboard, and it's not 11 by 17. It's around that. But, I put just a little something on here, put a little something in there. And even this little dotted line here, I did this one time with when I ran the One Ring. And I simply had a road, and I didn't do anything with it. I didn't, let's see here. No, let's see. Where did I do with that? It's right here. That along this road here, you can see this is kind of a road that's they're following to get to this place. But, there's no, excuse me, there's no, big map making here. It's just a road and then encounters on the road, where there's not a ton of, rooms to make, anything like that. And so you can do that. You can do something like that. Now you can also, on the other side, if you want to just be creative and just start drawing stuff, you can do that. Or on the other side, it gives you the grids. So if you want to teach movement, if you want to teach more tactically or strategically, well, you can do that as well. And I'll put a little link down below or on the, on the feed here, so that you can get this if you're interested in that. And but yeah, it's I think it's called a squibble board. I think that's what it's called. And so yeah, it's a ton of fun. If you, like I said, if you have questions about this, I'm going to be signing off here in a minute because I'm going to go eat lunch and then I'm going to go to the movies. But if you have any questions about duet gaming, or you have any questions about running these type of games, happy to answer any questions. Feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, I will be heading out. But I enjoyed just hanging out with you guys for a little while here on X. And once again, if you want to, just so you know, you can always follow my channel. If you go to my profile, you'll see my link to my channel, to my YouTube channel, where I give DM tips and do reviews. And, I'm going through right now my process for creating my own little sandbox called Kriesh. I also have a zine, if you're interested at all, called Crit Happens. And I have this thing called the Hex Crawl of Horror that I've developed. So if you're interested in zines that kind of lean into a little bit of the OSR, Hex Crawl, that kind of thing, you can watch my process of how I've done it. But I've built this world out sufficiently to this point, at least the southeast portion of the continent. So if you're interested in that, you can check out also over on my channel. Plenty of links in there to get to the places you need to go. And then I also have it in a bundle. You're welcome to check that out. It's a Hex Crawl bundle. And there are, I can show you, Simple by showing you. I think you're going to get about 7 zines. Not, they're digital, by the way, not physical. But there's about 7 zines in the series right now that you can get PDFs from. And check that out for yourself. If you're interested in a new setting, you want to try it out, kick the tires, that kind of thing, buy one and just see what your thoughts are on it, and check it out for yourself. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think that's it for today. If you would like to see more X exclusives right here on X, let me know. We'll love your comments, love your feedback. Otherwise, I am done for the day, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being a part today. And I hope you have an excellent day. And we will see you in the next one. We'll see you later.